Folks, I have very credible information that the attack on DP Ruto's home was actually the work of a terror group, the Shabaab. Now, of course, the timing of this attack was rather awkward because it came soon after damning revelations of some documents tabled by NASA, the opposition, which proved actually that there's a covert operation to rig the forthcoming general elections. Now, Kenyans were very, very angered by this and also shocked. So when news of this attack came in, there was a lot of lethargy amongst Kenyans. And of course, a lot of Kenyans assumed that it was a stage-managed event designed to divert attention away from the issues, the real big issue here concerning the rigging of the elections. Now, I have to confess, I was one of those people who believed that actually this was a diversionary tactic and that this attack was not real. However, my latest information, very credible information, tells me that actually this was an Al-Shabaab attack. Now, I'm aware this information will be confusing to a lot of you, so let me back up a little so that you understand what this is all about. In January this year, in Club 1999, I published information that caused a number of members to leave the club. This information was so far-fetched that some people just wrote me off. And a lot of members boycotted the club for a while. And those who had known me for a longer time were a bit concerned about my mental health. Now, I need to remind all of you that I'm human, and sometimes I receive reports that because of the sources and also due to my experience, I receive reports, and because of the source of that information, and because of my experience in this business, I go ahead and release that information, knowing very well that even me, myself, I cannot believe that information, okay? But what usually ends up is that the information usually ends up panning out. In fact, the more sensational the information is, the more likely it is that actually it will come out very open in the public. Because actually the truth is you can invent things, but you cannot invent some things which are just too sensational, okay? Now, this report was to the effect that the Al-Shabaab terror group planned to interfere with the 2017 polls, okay? Those members of Club 1999 from that time will remember. And the whole idea was to, one of the chilling things that the group planned to do was to kidnap senior politicians taking part in the general elections. And you know, this was rather chilling, rather worrying, and rather far-fetched, okay? Now, recently we saw the brief kidnap of a senior government official in Lamu. It was all over the news, okay? And of course the KDF fought very valiantly and she was somehow rescued. It is now believed that actually the attack on the DP Ruto home was for the same purpose. And even if they did not get the DP, it was hoped that they would maybe get family members or something like that. This is very chilling, very worrying, but that is how this terror group works. The whole idea is to attract attention to themselves, attract attention to what they're doing, attract attention to their cause, you see, make headlines. Now, I have to commend the Kenyan government for the way this was handled, because you'll notice that as the attack was going on, DP Ruto and the president continued with their campaigns as usual. Now, there's nothing that enrages these terrorists more than to make the big effort of planning an attack, big investment, and then it has no impact. It has actually zero impact, okay? And so the policy has always been even to downplay the number of casualties. Yeah, quite rightly so. I'll do the same, because remember, this is war. We are at war with Al-Shabaab, in case you didn't know, okay? This is war, and in a war situation, the rules change, okay? I know this is difficult for a lot of you who are on one side of the political divide or the other, but let me remind you that when your home is attacked, you do not, you shelve the grudge you have against your brother, yeah? And first of all, you deal with the attackers, and then later on, you'll sort out your domes, yeah? And whatever domestic issues we have amongst ourselves, those actually need to be put shelved, yeah, when something as crazy as this happens. Now, according to my information, this is the way the attack was carried out. What happened is that a man posing as a Somali selling sheets, you know, a hawker, yeah, approached the gate, and he was followed very quickly by a Land Cruiser. At least four men were involved in the attack. They killed the guard who was at the gate, and they gained entry to the home. And these are the people who have been exchanging fire with the wrecker squad, because actually the wrecker squad were called in. And you know, in the wrecker squad are called in somewhere, it's not to deal with a single person with a machete or panga. Yeah, that was the official word from the police, that actually this was a single person with a machete or panga. Of course, they did not explain to the Kenyan public how the gun exchange or the gunfire, how the gunfire came in, and yet this was a single person with a machete. Okay. Of course, there have been all kinds of theories, including the one about transferring ballot boxes, yeah, because helicopters were hovering over the compound. But this was quite a serious attack. We thank God that the terror group did not achieve its objectives, because it would have put the country in quite a serious situation. Okay. We also pray to God to protect all our leaders across the political divide as we go into the final stretch of the electioneering and campaigning, that they may all be protected from these evil terrorists. Now on your screens right now is a photograph of one of the attackers who was killed. Okay, according to the official stories, that only one attacker and he was killed. Yeah. But as I told you before, this is a highly sensitive security issue, so I've already told you what the situation was. I don't need to repeat myself. Okay, we can only assume that the other attackers were dealt with in another way. You know, like maybe a grenade explosion. You don't have to collect pieces here and there, etc., etc. I don't want to go into that so much. But as you can see from the photograph, there are a lot of clues which will tell you that what I'm telling you is true. There's the jungle fatigue that the man is wearing. There are the feet, yeah, and there's also the headscarf, which you can see if you look a bit more closely. Okay, yeah, this is really what it was. I realize this is a very sensitive recording, but I feel that it's good for Kenyans to be knowledgeable, especially those who take in this channel. I feel it's a great duty to keep you very informed of exactly what's going on the ground. Okay, this is Chris Kumekucha. Until next time.